Hey yo, what's up? Whoop whoop! It's your boy Killer J coming back with you with another edition of Whoops Up, Whoops Down, the Juggalo Movie Podcast. And today I have a special treat for you guys. I am joined by a special guest, Mr. Will Gates, as we talk about Kevin Smith's classic 1994 film, Clerks. But before we get to that, let's get into some news, some updates, and stuff like that. Um, as of the Jug Awards are supposed to happen as this video is posted. If I get more information about that or where you can do the nominations and everything, will be under this video. But probably next week I'll have more news about that. But originally, May 17th was supposed to be the opening of the Jug Awards, so let's see if that happens. Um, Next week, I will be doing an episode with Humble Among as we go over Toxic Avenger 2. Also, I am seeing a Toxic Avenger, the musical, a local production of it. So, me and Humble are definitely going to be chatting about that. So, that'll be a fun episode to get to as I explore the world of trauma, as I deep dive in that. And then, as me and Humble get ready for the Toxic Avenger remake coming in August. So we're gonna, it's gonna be a fun time, fun conversation. So join us for that. Also, right now on the Lazy and Crazy website, you can get the video game collection. So this shirt that I'm wearing right now, you can get now. He had this last year for the Level Up event, but he brought back the collection. It's one of my favorite collections. I think all the shirts that are available for pre-order, I own all those, and I always get hella compliments. So if you ever, want to, haven't decided to buy some Lazy and Crazy merch, get some. They're really super comfortable. As a big man as a big man myself, I find them very comfortable to wear and very breezy, especially during warm weathers. So underneath the this video will also be a link to the website so you can check out the video game collection that is going on right now for pre-order, and also a custom jersey that you can put your name on the back. So that's fucking sweet. So shout out to Shaggy the Airhead for that, homie. It's a homie for real, and I mean I'm all set and all locked in when it comes to Lazy and Crazy. Actually, my whole drip. Hold on, I'll show you my whole drip right now. Just lazy and crazy out, baby. They got some lazy and crazy a bunch over there. So there's that. That's the news. Jug Awards coming. Humble Among interview coming, and Lazy and Crazy. And I guess the other news is the Gathering of the Juggalos is coming the fuck up, man. Don't sleep on this one. It's the 25th annual, and they're calling it the Gathering of Legends. I think this is the one that you cannot miss. So if you've never been to a gathering, I think this is the one that you should go to. Don't let the $300 scare you off. What you're gonna get for that $300 is gonna be uh, worthwhile at an event that you will remember for the rest and cherish for the rest of your life, especially if you're there with some homies. And if you don't have homies, you're gonna meet new homies when you're there. This will be the sixth one, and they just keep getting better and better the more I go. So, Gathering of the Juggalos, Gathering of Legends is August 13th through the 16th, I believe. Yeah. At Legend Valley in Thornsville, Ohio. It's right off the highway, so you can camp there. It's free or get a hotel. It's right off the highway, super easy to find. I highly recommend. But that is the news. Now let's get to the interview portion with my guest, Will Gates. Hope you enjoy it. And at the end of the interview, I'll give Clark either a whoops up or a whoops down. Enjoy. Whoop, whoop. Hello, welcome to the interview part. I'm here with my homie, my friend, Mr. Will Gates. Will Gates, introduce yourself to the people.
What's happening, y'all? How we living?
We're
Fucking
living pretty. Living
stoked for
pretty.
this, man. Fucking appreciate you having me on. It's cool to be on a podcast that's not like just talking about myself, you know? This is like,
Right.
let's talk about something I really enjoy.
I knew you were a Kevin Smith fan because you post about like Clerks all the time and everything. And then when we were celebrating your birthday, we watched a really bad version of Dogma, but we watched Dogma, which
Yeah.
I think at that time they didn't renounce, but they are re-releasing Dogma in theaters this year.
Yes, yes. Um, I think they announced it just a little bit before then. I or at least rumors about it, because I've been hearing about Dogma coming back out for a little bit now. I just been kind of waiting for the official dates and shit, you know.
I think the wide release is like June 25th.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fighting and clawing to make it out to one of them for sure. Whatever the closest one near me is, I'll be there.
He's doing Kevin Smith is also doing a tour where he's showing it too. So you can even look at those dates and like if you want to see him do like a Q&A
Yeah,
after
yeah.
the movie. Yeah. So the reason why it took so long for Dogma to come out was Harvey Weinstein, even though he was in jail, held the rights to Dogma and he didn't want to release it.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of lore on that. I mean, I can imagine. I wasn't there when this one dropped. Dogma was just a little bit before me, you know. But I can
That's
imagine
yeah, it's
at
late
that
90s.
time. Yeah, I can imagine at that time in that political climate, Dogma being a bit of a left hook, you know what I'm saying? Or like, pow, shit, right in the kisser. What do we do with this one? You know?
You want to do Dogma?
Oh, Dogma's a good one. Dogma's a good one, man. No, we're here to talk about the whole view of universe, you know what I'm saying? We can talk about whatever's clever, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So today we're going to talk about Clerks. I think like you being a Kevin Smith fan, it's hard to like get into Kevin Smith without talking about Clerks.
That is the main one. That's the first one, and I based my life around that movie. So yeah, I'm
And
with it.
you're a clerk. So
Yeah,
that there's a living experience. You work at a gas station.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. There's not a good convenience store that's slow enough by me, so I had to go to a gas station and take the extra responsibility of working the gas pumps. But we made it work. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted a job where I could do minimal, maybe play hockey on the roof if I so felt like it. Now, in this case, the gas station ain't big enough to get full teams up there,
Not
but
on the roof, but
you know,
you
we
can do
can
it
still play
on
in
the
the
gas
parking
station
lot or
pump.
something. You know, the parking lot's pretty big.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your history with Clerks? When's the first time like how'd you get into Clerks? How did you watch it? Because it's a it's a very indie film,
My
and it
sister
doesn't really
had that
play on
shit on
TV very
tape,
often.
like a VHS. My older sister had that shit on tape. I watched that shit when I was 12. I think it was like my 12th birthday. No, that
Uh-huh.
was Jay and Silent Bob specifically. Forgive me. It was later that week I watched Clerks. Um, but she had some of them on tape and shit, you know. So I got introduced real early. As soon as I started watching them, I started rewatching them. You know, I was pretty hooked. The dialogue was real fucking good. You know, it just kept me locked in. And it's come so full circle. I've watched Clerks enough to watch the special features, the bonus content, and all that. You know,
Have you seen the original cut?
yeah, man. You know, it's so crazy thinking about the funeral scene and how that could have gone. You know,
I'm actually glad they cut it. I think it's funnier that they're explaining us what happened at the funeral because most of the time, the whole movie at that point, it's heavy on dialogue and stuff like that. So most of the comedy is coming from the interactions between Dante and Randall. So
yeah,
the fact that we didn't get the funeral scene and knowing that when we go to Mallrats, you find out that those characters in Mallrats were also at that funeral at that time.
oh yeah. No, that was fucking tight, man. That was tight. You know, I think often when people come to my gas station, we don't have like a public bathroom or whatever at this one.
Oh,
So all the time, I do have old people come and ask me. I'm like, nah, I've seen this before. I know what happens. I know what happens. You're not gonna die in my shit, you know.
no. And then have my girl come in there and try to fuck you in the bathroom.
Well, you know, I don't fuck local no more. You know, I don't keep them. I don't really keep them at home anymore, so I wouldn't have to worry about that.
That's
But
true.
it would.
Caitlin wasn't local. I mean, well, she was local at the high school, but she was in Ohio. I just love how Ohio shows up in some movies. That she
Yeah.
just came down from Ohio, so she wasn't local at the time.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh man, I can't ask y'all to come in off the train and get
Yeah,
hit with this old man dick and the fucking. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Six
we'll get to that
six
scene because
hours dead or some shit. That's rough.
my girl, my wife was her. She was like, "Oh, I've seen Clerks," and she's like, "This is the one with the donkey, right?" I was like, "No, that's Clerks too." And as we were watching the movie, I'm like, "I don't think you've seen this movie because like at all." So I got excited. So my how I got into Clerks was similar to yours, except for I didn't have a big sister. I am like the oldest,
Oh yeah,
but I remember seeing Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back first. That was my first experience
yeah, yeah,
with the universe. I remember watching that probably in 2006.
yeah, yeah.
So in 2007, we started going to the library heavy. I mean, heavy. And I actually found the library actually had Clerks.
Really?
And yeah, and I was about so
That
2007. I was about 14.
blows my wig back, man. I know for a fact. At least the local library I got would never let clerks up in there. They'd be like, no.
I watched a hell of a lot of movies because of the library, man. Like if anybody, I tell people, I will tell people, it's like if you complaining about streaming services and stuff like that, like just go to the library, just get a card is free, and they have hella fucking DVDs, Blu-rays, and I heard rumors that some of them are even having video games up in there that
Bro,
you can
that's
rent out.
that's facts. The one by me does have some video games and shit. They got a bunch of CDs and shit too. They got
CDs, yeah,
all kinds of good shit, for real, for real. I
that's
know
how I
as
read
a kid, when
mangas.
I was a kid, the library was the shit. That was one of my favorite places when I was a kid. And I'll tell you, to this day, it still is when I go up in that bitch. Because let me tell you something, man. Once we became adults, everything started fucking costing money. But you know who was all reliable the whole
The
time?
library,
The motherfucking library, dog. The motherfucking library. And you know what? They're real nice. If I go in there and I ask them about like, hey, can we get this one in or that one or whatever the fuck,
yeah.
they're really dope. They're really dope. Now, clerks specifically at this one. Now I'm gonna have to ask him just to see if we can get it. But I don't know, man. I haven't seen super raunchy shit over there yet. So, but maybe I can. Maybe I can be the change. Maybe I can be the change.
So back to back to Clerks.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember watching the film. It's interesting that you watched the film around the same time, around the same age I did.
yeah, yeah.
Now, my next question is this: is like, what about Clerks during that time that grabbed you and made you repeat watching? Because the whole movie is basically two guys in a convenience store, and we're just watching their day at their job. It's not like this big grand story. It's just what about this film at 12 where you were just like, hell yeah,
When I was 12, I already had quite the shit mouth vocabulary, you know. So
yes,
Clerks being so full of offensive humor was was definitely what got me when I was 12. I had I'd also just started experiencing like really experiencing the joys of weed around this time. Now I,
really,
I had smoked for the first time when I was 9. I had an older brother. Like I walked in on him and his homies and he was like, "Oh shit, what do we do? Hit this or I hit you?" Right? When I was 12 and I got to my 12th birthday, some of my older siblings started sharing like on a regular basis. They're like, all right, we have decided, the council has decided, you know what I'm saying?
the younger brother got to be part of the cool kids.
Yeah, man. So I'm fucking blown back. It's not like I'm leaving the couch during this time, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm hella locked in for clerks. Um, and I mean, I just caught the whole thing. There's a lot to it across the board. When I was 12, it was just the layers of the humor. As I'm a little older, I watch and there's life lessons baked into this shit. The fucking I love the whole Star Wars debate in that bitch.
That
You know
was a good
what I'm
one.
saying? There's a lot to it, and the older I get, the more I rewatch it, the more I'm like, man, this shit, this shit hit. You know what I'm saying? So much so, like sometimes I feel like I'm on my Dante shit. Sometimes I feel like I'm on my Randall shit. Oftentimes when I have women problems, I reflect to Dante. I'm like, how the fuck? You know what I'm saying? How do I
Yeah.
end up with this same thing? I once even had. Let me tell you something, man. I once even had a girl bring me lasagna to work. But you know what was fucked up? You know what was fucked up? She brought me lasagna to work because she felt bad for cheating after, and she knew that was the movie I liked. So that was gonna deflect it. It was a whole thing, dog. It was a
But it
whole
made it
thing.
worse. To me, that would make it worse. So like
It,
you're trying to be Veronica, but your ass is being Caitlyn. Like hell no.
I didn't, you know. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah, I've been on demon time since. But fucking, I base
Yeah,
my life around these movies, for real, for real. So that,
I could tell
there's a
this
shit ton to it, you
this
know.
was gonna be a hella compliment for you. I'm watching Clerks, and when Jay shows up, I was like, and he starts talking. I'm like, that's that. Yeah, I see Billy in this. I can see the Billy character in this iteration of Jay, not later Jay, but like this Jay. Like this is a Youngalo right here.
Oh, I pull a lot of my quotes from that Jay specifically.
Oh
So yeah.
yeah, it's like,
Oh hell yeah,
what's
man.
up, bitches? What's up, sluts? I
Uh,
was like,
no,
yeah,
no, man.
yeah. Um, to me, and so I've been watching something this since you're the third interview, and Humble kind of like is this like a Juggalo movie, and I'm looking at Clerks. I'm like, this is like such a Juggalo movie to the T. Is like what I found interesting at this time. All right, so when I'm 12, like when I was 12, I watched The Godfather for the first time. So my whole world opened up to how I viewed films and stuff like that. So by the time I was watching Clerks, I've already seen some like A quality film. And what I enjoyed Clerks so much was like the simplicity of it. It's
Yeah,
so easy to get in these characters, and since the camera work is not asking too much, you're sitting there, and this viewing it, I felt like the camera was me like being a part of it, just kind of being observant
yeah.
to everything that's going around. Like, in this day, like I feel like this happens to them all the time.
I like how you put that, man. It really does kind of like, especially like them front angles where it's just like right in front of the counter. It feels like you're just chilling in a convenience store. When you put it like that, hell yeah, man. That's tight. I do like that. I do like that a lot.
It's very personal. And here's the thing: is like when you learn more about Clerks, you realize that Kevin Smith, like he went to film school for 6 months just to make a movie, and he came back to make this movie for $27,000 on a credit card, which is fucking that's cheap. That's like cheap, 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 cheap. That's why it's black and white in '94 because that's all he could afford. But what I like because you know this, you could feel the heart and the soul in the movie. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you can tell that this guy who made this movie gave a shit about the characters, the way the camera looked. Like I can understand that he's trying very hard. It feels very natural to him, I would say. He's doing things that feel natural to him. He's not trying to do anything that's above him, I would
Yeah,
say.
and
He's
that's
coming through his
something I
experience. Like
also really like about, especially when we're talking about Clerks specifically, because of course they went on and made some money with the View universe, as they should have, very much deserved. But the root of Clerks is so fucking scrubby and
yes.
beautiful, man. It's such a
That's why I
beautiful,
like Chasing Amy.
yeah, man. And
Chasing Amy goes back to that scrubbiness a little bit.
listening to Kevin talk about this kind of shit, man, he said something in a recent thing. He was like, man, I've been getting by good enough for 30 fucking years. And when he said that, I was like, damn, I really be saying the same shit. I'll work on my shit. And I'm like, this is the best materials and stuff that I have to put into this. And I'm like, man, the heart's in this bitch. That's good enough, you know? Like, let's
Especially
run
when
it up.
you find out that he was working at the Quick Stop at the time he was making this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that the most of the people in this movie are his boys, his friends, which also
Exactly.
comes to the scrubbiness,
Yeah,
right? There's a lot of
it all links
it's a
together.
guy. It's a guy that's like, I'm gonna make a movie. Fuck you. I don't care. I'm gonna do it the way I want to make it, kind of thing. Like it's at
Yeah,
that time you didn't do these things.
yeah,
This is more commonplace now, but '94. you think about where even like where Juggalos were at in '94. I mean, the Ringmaster just popped up, dog. Like
Yeah.
that, the reason why I love Ringmaster so much because of how scrubby it was and how raw and natural and how to me it's the album of the clowns figured out their angle. They found their characters and they really were playing around. And I enjoyed the scrubbiness so much because it was him and his boys making that record until they go to Jive and it's a big corporation. And I feel like there is a if you listen to Ringmaster to Riddlebox, there is a difference in there because of the scrubbiness and when they get that deal.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, I'll tell you, there's always a certain feel with that grassroots shit because it exists solely because the person who creates it wants it to exist, and it's not at a point yet where anybody else can put any input and be like, well, I think this, if you did this, it could have this effect, or this and that and the third. Maybe we change this, you know what I mean? And of course, that's what's going to happen when you get to like a bigger studio and all that, you know, whether that be a film, whether that be art, whether that be a, you know, maybe you write the best fucking book on the planet, but if you go through that big grand scheme publishing process, you got other hands on it. And I think when it's all fresh and scrubby and new, it's just exactly as it's intended to be, you know?
Because at that point, I think when Kevin, the reason why he made Clerks, because he wanted to make an example of how he could make films. Like this was supposed to be the demo. Like this is his demo tape per se.
Yeah.
Like this is the one he was going to sell. Like, look, I can make a movie. Look, I made this movie, so give me money to make me a real. Like he wanted to make Dogma. Like Dogma, he was the idea he had back then, and he wanted that was his second film. He wanted to do Dogma, so he made Clerks to be like, hey, I could do the directing thing. Give me money to do this because some like that happens. Like when a director wins an Oscar, their next film they can do whatever the fuck they want. Like a studio will give them whatever money they want just because they got like an Oscar. Like, ooh, you are this thing, and that's kind of what Kevin was doing. Hey, think of Quentin Tarantino because Quentin Tarantino like '94 Pulp Fiction at around this same time. So he made Reservoir Dogs, Miramax buys it, and then he makes Pulp Fiction. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
Kevin saw that kind of thing. It was like, look, because he was inspired by other indie directors like Linklater. He watched Slacker, which I've never seen Slacker, but I've seen a Linklater film. He's the one who made Dazed and Confused, Boyhood, and stuff like that. Like he's a really good director. Um, and he saw Quentin at that time making these films, and like how independent artists at that time were cherished in the '90s. And here, in the fact that he put his all into it, you can see it in the film. Now, it's playing different to me in my 30s. I'm 32, so I'm 10 years older than Randall and Dante. So that's why I enjoyed the viewing this time because when I haven't seen the movie since I was in my 20s,
Yeah.
I was still in college. So it's like now I've got two masters. I am in a different place in my life.
Yeah.
How do I view these characters now? And I'll tell you what, brother, Dante was pissing me off. I was just like, dude, you are just you're playing victim to your life. And I'm like, you're making all these decisions.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. For sure.
But when we're young, it's like that's kind of like,
You gotta shit or get off the pot for real, man. It's
yeah,
like,
like he really did.
now, what do you want to do with that shit, man? I've thought about that exact phrase for many things in my life, and it's been the catalyst um, for some big decisions. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I love that shit. I fucking love that shit, and how there's so many. I feel like there's a lot of parallels, you know, as I watch it, and I'm like, damn, I really relate to these guys, and that's, as you were saying, man. I think that's coming from a place of Kevin really just being able to pour his whole fucking heart and soul in that bitch, and really write these people as fucking people. This isn't written to be a paycheck. This isn't written to be, you know, this isn't written to get so many clicks online or whatever the fuck. This is written the
No,
way it is because Kevin Smith decided like this is the piece of art he wanted to create that day, and he just called up his boys and said, "Yo, on some Phineas shit, I know what we're gonna do today." And they're like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And it's like, "You'll get it in 20 years." You know what I'm saying? And by
He
God,
Kevin
by
bet on
God,
himself. That's the thing. He did the opposite what Dante did. He was like he got off the pot and like I'm gonna make a movie. Like there was no stopping him from making a movie. Like he was so
yeah,
inspired by the film Slacker that he's like he did everything he did. Like once you figure out what you want to do in life, there is no other option. There
yeah,
is no, and that's I'm telling you that's the Juggalo secret to me. Once you figure out your thing, never stop. Just
yeah.
never stop.
One day at a time. And if you ever decide one day, yo, I want to make something else, then that's okay. That's your new thing now. If you decide instead of making fucking clay pots, you want to make ice cream sandwiches for a living, fucking do that and be
Do
the
this
best
shit.
at it. You know what I'm saying? You can do whatever the fuck, man.
Cause
Whatever the
like
fuck.
what being an insane clown, being a juggler for so long, and following the insane clown posse as long as I have, when you look at their story, you get this. There's the secret. Like you understand. Like brother, they never said they were gonna ever stop. There was no other. There was no other option. Like and
Not at
to
all.
me. To me, when
But
I think about Kevin Smith, it's hard not to relate back to ICP. I'm like, oh my god, they kind of have similar careers.
yeah, that independent spirit, man. And you know what
Yes,
I really loved about ICP the whole time, man? The whole time they've continued doing ICP, but at any point, like I was saying, man, if they ever felt like it, they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's make a movie today. Or fuck it. Let's make a comic book today. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever they're feeling like, they're not afraid to explore other mediums. I think that shit's fresh.
I mean, there's a reason why they're pretty good in their merch game. Like, there's no one who's ever, you know, at that time. I feel like the Juggalo merch game is great now. There's so many options. I mean, I spend so much more of my money now on it, but
Yeah.
ICP really tapped into having a bunch of merch, having options for their fans. Like they had a blue one and a green one. Like, dude, the Gathering merch is like probably the best merch you're gonna get at a show. I mean, there's so much flavor. You're gonna get something.
Yeah, that's a big spread. That's a big old spread. Somebody's gonna get you with something, you know?
Yes, yes. I that's usually where I get my jerseys because I've been trying to collect all six in different jerseys.
Hell
So I
yeah.
need to get. I haven't really found a Jekyll Brothers I've liked. Where I'm like,
I've I gotta start a jersey collection myself. I gotta work on that.
it's expensive.
Yeah. Nah,
the
jerseys are pricey, you know. That's the main thing. I got I got one jersey right now. I got a chapter
so
17 one I've been running around in. But
that's why I do. PayPal does you paying for. Like I kind of like pay like instead of like buying the jersey at once, I spread it into like four payments. Makes it so
yeah,
much easier.
you know, I bet. You know, when you say it like that, that's pretty smart.
That's what Jiggy does. That's what I do. That's how we all able like all my lazy and crazy. I did payments on.
Man, hell yeah. Well, fucking, I be traveling a lot, so it's still probably gonna be like on a rare occasion I decide to do all that. But I be tight.
that's true too. You're a lot busier man than I am. I'm pretty much
Oh,
doing lots of
we all
busy
got
stuff.
the exact same 24 hours, brother. Ain't nobody
I
more
know.
important, no more busy, no more none of that. You know what I'm saying? We all got the exact same shit. We're all just trying to get through the day. So
It's that's true. Another the thing about the Kevin Smith sells jerseys too. So there's so much, and there's a lot of juggalos who like Kevin Smith, and I think if you watch Clerks, like all the evidence is there. I mean, everyone in there is a scrub. Everybody is like them, poor. There's not a there's a lot of like when I watch the movie, I just relate to it so much because I'm like, I know people like this. I've been to a convenience store like this. Like I look at Randall and I was like, all my life I thought I was a Dante. I'm like, no, I have been a Randall the whole time in my whole life.
yeah, yeah, man. Like I'm real inspired by Randall when I'm dealing with certain customers. You know, I don't go out of my way to be a dickhead all day, so I'm not like full Randall mode. You know, but
No,
I just, you know, I wouldn't be afraid to spit some water at somebody. You know,
there be so technically I'm a clerk too. So I've been. I mean, I think anybody who's in the service, people servicing business, as a merchant, when somebody comes and buys, like when I worked at the retail paint side for Sherwin, brother, they were many customers. I'm just like, I got a customer that saluted me Nazi style.
Oh, what the fuck, man?
Bro, it was the weirdest like this is during the 2020 COVID like the heavy conspiracy, and they were like he was calling me a Nazi for whatever reason because I was combating Daddy Trump from him. It was fucking crazy.
That's
Yes.
such a wild one, Doug. He hit you with the
Um
salute, and he's like, "No, as a matter of fact,
and I have to still sell it. I still have to sell him paint. Like I can't be like, no.
man, I would, man, I'm such a dickhead. I run the gas station by myself. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
tell
that's
people
different. Yeah.
often, just because I'm by myself, there's nobody checking me if I have a decision. Now, whether that's right or wrong, whether that's kicking somebody out because they're being a dickhead, or that's locking up the store because I've decided that the other convenience store down the road has better snacks. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's you going to the different video stores. Like, hey, whoa, 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 that store over there has Fago.
Bro,
Time
I
out.
be thinking about that shit. I really be thinking about that. And they do. They do have more Fago at the other one. They do have a few flavors at the one I work at. And they did just option to switching out the grape for green apple for me, which is
Oh,
actually straight up on my request. So I was like, fuck, I'm not going nowhere for a while. I'll be
right.
here. I
That's
will, in
pretty. That's
fact.
pretty dope. I love. I
That's pretty
love.
good. That's pretty good. They got me literally until it is. I'd have to do so well off rap that it makes no sense for me to have a day job when I'm home. And let me tell you, brother, that's gonna be a while. All right, that's gonna be a while. So I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there for a bit. If they're gonna let me swap out the Fagos in that bitch, we're getting Blue Moon Mist next. Swear
Oh,
to God,
blue moon.
watch
Oh, dude,
this.
I'd be like,
Watch this.
you're like, hey, can I get any flavor? Because I'd be. When we were at Juggalo High was the first time I ever saw a 60/40 in the wild, and I was just like, oh my god, like my favorite thing to do is play is there Fago in this gas station? Like you and to me if the nicer it looks the less likely it is because it's like I don't know why. So I always try to go, oh, there's a Sunoco there. It's a hit or miss. BP, hit or miss. There's certain gas stations. Speedways I've had more success in
Oh,
than not.
Speedway's pretty good. Speedway's pretty good. It's I like how you put it, like the more run down it looks. Yeah, if it's like especially if it's like a ma and pa type shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. That's sorry.
If
The
that's
less
just
corporate
running
it
a
looks.
gas station in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, there's a good chance he's got some Fago in there. And probably some other really good, rare, hard to find type snacks too. So you're gonna come up
Oh
with
yes.
Fago and also some good like I mean you might fuck around and find a Zagnut in that bitch, you know what I'm saying?
Usually those shops have hella fucking weed wrap, like leaf wraps too. Like they have like the
Exactly.
tobacco shop. Like that's the reason why you look for that because it's like the people know who their customers are.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Exactly. Exactly that. They know
Like
who
I
their
have a
customers
spot.
are. If they got good Fago flavors, they probably got some good wraps. And if they got good
I
wraps,
see. I've
they
been
probably got
seeing
some good Fago flavors.
uh since Frankie Goldie got me hooked on the cookies and cream leaf wrap ones. I see them in the loose leaves. I see them in the wild now, and I found a spot that sells them consistently. I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a spot across town that's got the loose leaves, and they got at least a few flavors of Fago. Well over 40 jobs, I'll tell you.
40 jobs.
Over. I've either moved a lot or bounced jobs for one reason or another. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always when I was younger, I was just like, oh, they're gonna pay me 50 cents more. Sure, I'll go start there tomorrow. And I'd
Hey,
follow a bunch of that. I follow so much of that, and then at a certain point, I realized I'm working my dick off to make like $5 more, maybe,
maybe it's at 50
maybe.
cents. It has to be to me. Has to be dollars. Like it has to be dollars more.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm just saying, like comparatively, I've worked much harder jobs where I'm making a few dollars more an hour. I'm working my dick off type shit, but I'll come home and I won't have the brain power to uh to create shit to the fullest capacity. And I still end up fucking broke. So I
Yeah.
figured I might as well just do what takes the least effort for my brain power so I can focus on my creative shit. If I'm gonna still be broke either way, you know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be broke either fucking way, I may as well make it on my own terms. You know what I'm saying?
At least be doing something that like the reason why you're broke is because you're doing something you love, not that
Exactly.
you're
That's
wasting it on
on my
something
own
else.
terms. It's like this. I'm doing this because these are some necessary sacrifices for me to be able to do what it is that I like to do. Like, man. I used to work at this fucking It was American Waste in town at the time, and I was on the recycling line. And I just dig through fucking trash 12 hours a day. And that was the whole fucking thing. We're just digging through fucking trash. I'd come home so beat tired. I was
Oh, you're working 12 hours. Yeah,
yeah, man.
that's a long
It's
time.
like a physical. You're actually moving around doing lifting shit or whatever. But like I was at that kind of job, and it kind of clicked in my head that the people that work the hardest up in them bitches never get paid the most. You know what I'm saying? So at this
No.
point, it really is like if you're gonna deal with a certain amount of shit anyways, if you're gonna like be dealing with a certain amount of struggle, it may as well be on your own terms. You may as well go do what you like to do type shit, you know?
So the reason why I stayed at my job in my company for 10 years is that I found jobs where that was the same thing. It was like it wasn't taxing enough for me where I could do for like I work 8 to 4, 8 to 5. I mean, I get from 5 to like it used to have to work through the evenings. I was missing a lot of stuff. Like now I have my evenings off and weekends off. I find you got to find a schedule that works for you to make sure you have that time to be creative. I
Yeah,
think that is like when you have a 12-hour shift and you're busting your ass and you're getting shit for it, and that ain't right to me because me as being a boss for so long and managing people, I try to make that time that they're there like lesser. Like I'm there helping them during that time that they're not doing it alone. So it's like, yeah, they're working 12 hours, but I'm also there busting my ass because I have the same goal as you, kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
I think that is the best way to lead people is like, if your employees are not seeing you do it, it feels like you're doing more than him. Because like I know what they're doing back there. They're talking to their bosses, they're talking about money. I hated that.
yeah, man.
Oh god, dude.
Well, you know how it goes. You
But
know how it
I
goes.
worked with my dad's company after in college where we were an industrial factory cleaner, small business. So we would like you worked at fast food, right?
I've worked in fast food and all
So you
kinds
know
of
about the
food
grease hoods,
safety
right?
stuff. What's up?
The grease hoods.
Oh yeah,
So I would go in and clean those bitches because there's a fire hazard, and I had to, bro. I have cuts and stainless steels of me getting in there deep in those things
yeah.
to clean all the grease out
The
for
worst.
12 hours.
Yeah.
There
Those
was
are demanding,
a
dude.
job we had to do. We had to clean a coffin factory. The whole entire factory we had to clean.
Damn.
Brother, the stuff that I have like you're talking about, right? The people who work the hardest it just get paid shit. Like that was the
Yeah.
first time I made $1,000, and I was just like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, man. The first time we made a legal comma on a check, dog. I feel that. I feel the fuck out of that. I was at a bakery when I got that first $1,000, and let me
Oh,
tell
it
you, dog.
feels good, man.
I just started as a slicer. I was just supposed to slice bread and put it in a fucking bag, and that was it. But I got talked into learning everything. I was like suckered in. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get you some more money. We're gonna get you some more money. This, that, and the third. I learned my way around the entire fucking store. I know how to bake. I know how to mix. I know how to form. I know how to do the whole fucking shebang. I'm going up front. I'm dealing with people when they come in to get their shit. I'm handling the truck when it comes in. I do the prefer and the starter dough, which literally keeps the store rolling and shit. And
Right.
then I fuck around and find out they're hiring in another slicer. I got put in at $12 an hour, and I found out they were hiring in another slicer for 15, dog. For 15, dog.
I'd be like, hey, come on now. Okay,
Yeah,
so
exactly. I went straight to him. I was like, yo, where's my money, motherfucker? I look how much I do around this bitch. I straight up I was doing 80-hour weeks around that bitch.
ooh,
Sometimes I'd be there for 26 fucking hours. I bring a dab brick. They'd have food and shit. So it's not like I'm not eating or nothing. Like I'm eating
of
pretty
course, yeah.
fucking
When
good.
you
I'm
work at
making
places like that,
Scooby
yeah.
Doo ass sandwiches at this bakery. So don't think they're like cracking the whip at me. I was just dumb enough to be like, I'm willing to do this, that, and the third and fucking try to do, as much as I can. So there's times I was there for fucking ever, dog. And I was like really putting my heart and soul up in this bitch. I love food, you know what I'm saying? I love
We're
food.
big guys. We
So
know. I
like,
know.
you know, I did enjoy what I was doing, but it wasn't an even exchange. And then I'd go home and I wouldn't have the energy to like really put my soul into what I was writing and working on. Like I could still make some kind of art, but like I think the things I was making at that time didn't have the oomph in them that my current shit has from in here, if that makes sense.
It sounds like the bakery. The time you were at the bakery, you're on your Dante shit
When I was
because
at the bakery, it was crazy time. It was a crazy time because there was all that. I was working my dick off like that, and that was also when my brother was like real sick and on his way
oh
out
man,
with
yeah,
cancer and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was a rough time for sure. But you know, at, at a certain point, I just decided, like I said, we're gonna do something that just makes a little bit more sense for me and doing what I like to do. So some of the songs I make now are like I'll write them at the gas station and then I'll bring them home and I'll just fire up the laptop and start recording when I get back type shit.
I
Yeah.
remember we're at Jolly Jam and it's way deep in the night, and
Yeah.
your ass is in there on the computer doing some editing. Like I've seen the grind that you have, especially because we actually filmed the music video at Jolly Jam, and now you're already there. Just
Yeah. Trying to piece it together real quick. Like how can we get this? I really like what I do, and that I think that's a big part of it. Is everything I've done in the last few years. Um, I watched a couple of my siblings go really fucking early, in their 20s and shit. And they didn't get a chance to really pursue what it is that made them happy. But they were like already kind of like living through me, watching me start to do all this. And I realized like at any point, this whole shit can get pulled out from under us. You know what I'm saying? At any
yeah,
fucking point, and we gotta just like do fully commit to what's in our hearts, whatever that happens to be. If there's something you want to be fucking doing, tomorrow's not promised, and you need to run the play. you know just fucking see what you can do. You'd be really surprised. It may take you a while to get to the big goal, but one day at a time, if you stay consistent on shit and you just chip away at this shit, you'll be surprised. People overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do over an extended period of time. You know what I mean?
that's true.
It's like,
I I think that is the secret as well. Is just kind of like if you work on your craft every day, I mean, you're gonna get better. That's why like in football, like when I play football, it's like I wish I knew this back then. Like the kids who are coming up now are listening to their mentors and saying how important practice is. I just went out there and had fun, not really thinking about what actually am I actually doing? But if I
Yeah.
actually put the time and actually cared about how I was moving, what it meant to do this, is like the aspect of what that offers you is so great. So you look at, me doing this is like, because I'm doing this almost every week, I could already tell how better each episode's getting because I'm doing it more constantly and stuff like that and get more comfortable. I mean, the fact that I already passed what I did a couple years ago, I did 10 episodes and I've already surpassed that already. And I'm just like,
So,
that's
yeah.
nuts, man. You just got to focus on the day to day and even sometimes week by week, and it's
Yeah.
amazing what you can accomplish.
Yeah, man. It's you can't you can't necessarily get everything done at once, but if you do a little bit, just a little bit at a time, and you make sure that um, every day you work at least a little bit towards your goal, you will get there. You know what I'm saying? It's inevitable. It's
I
like the
finished.
tortoise and the hare type thing. You know,
It is, yeah.
that slow progress is good, baby. It's steady. You know.
I actually just recently did this little process when I came back from my master's. My undergrad didn't go so well. I had so much turmoil going on in my life right now. I don't think I've ever sat and focused on school. Like I went to school because it's kind of like you kind of were doing it for so long. It kind of felt natural to just kept doing it, not really thinking about, oh my God, maybe I should slow down. I should stop. My life is not steadied right now. I'm not prepared for all this. By the time I came back from my master's, I decided that was my thing. I lived alone at the time. I didn't, I was like, all right, focus. And I focused each day, make sure I did my homework and just focus on the week's task, not worrying about the big paper quite yet. Kind of just like, hey, just do it day to day. I mean, I got a 4.0 most of the fucking semesters. I finished with high, like I got all A's to finish my schooling, and I finished in a year and a half. It was just like fucking nuts that I'm sitting here with the masters. Like this time last year, well, on the 4th, May 4th, was a year ago. I got my masters. I'm like, that's fucking insane.
Oh yeah, man. And it's just by cooking one day at a time, man. That's
Yes.
that's the beautiful shit. That fucking like you saying, man, if you would have focused on the big paper and all that at the end, you might not have done so good. I'll tell you, if I was in that situation, I might not have done so good because I'll be worrying about the oh fuck. I got
Mhm.
you know? Fucking but that's championship, man. That's the secret. That's the secret.
And I think it's just you just gotta sometimes you gotta slow down and really be like, if you're not okay, you just stop and say that you're not okay, and it's okay to stop doing what you're doing to focus on yourself. I think it took me a while to realize I needed to focus more on myself a little bit and get myself steady. And sometimes
Yeah.
once you do that, you like the possibilities. I think Dante was just going through this, and Clerks was going through this turmoil because his he, he had this girlfriend he still had feelings for. He just couldn't decide which girl he wanted to be with, and his life was in turmoil. And it felt like he was working at the quick stop almost every day from open to close. And then you seen how taxing and drained it wasn't for him. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like Randall's basically telling him, like, look, Randall, the lifestyle you don't want to. There's certain aspects of Randall you don't want to be, but
Yeah.
the fact that he's like, look, I know I work a crappy job and everything else, but that's okay. That's what I want. That's how I feel at the time. Like he's 22 and he's accepted his role in society right now. He found what was comfortable for him and he felt comfortable in his skin.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Find comfort in your own skin, your own situation, and then like what you could do from that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Real shit, man. Real shit.
I mean, I did so many years of film school. Like I should have gave up so many times, but I was like, nah, I'm not. I'm getting this done. And the fact that I'm not done yet. I gotta apply for PhD programs, but it's a goal still.
Hey, man. That's a lengthy fucking journey.
Hmm.
Like even on the short end, how long's PhD? That's what 8 years. So,
Okay, that's okay. Okay. You're thinking medical doctors, dog.
okay. Okay.
um.
But a
So
PhD in general, still, that's
that's
like that's
probably
top
another
of the
four to
line
five
in your
years.
profession,
Another,
right?
yeah, probably 4 to 5 years.
That's like even on the short end, that's 4 or 5 years.
Right, but
That's
here's the
still
thing: is like if you think of wizards, right? Wizards are PhDs, right? It took forever for those wizards to get all powerful because they constantly kept learning. So by the time they able to be a grand master wizard, they're fucking how old? They're old as shit. So
Yeah.
it's like I take it as it's going to happen. There ain't no doubt in my mind it's going to happen. But how soon it needs to happen, I'm not worried about. It's just more like focus on the day to day and getting to it. Cause like I know I kind of have the ideal where I want to go now, and that's time to go. I think when you this is how you think about PhDs, okay? Or how narrow it is. Okay. So here's your undergrad. This is this broad range. Your masters go down to like this. PhDs even get smaller. So like I need to take this time to think about, hey, what do I actually want to be a doctorate in? Like what do I want? What specific thing do I want to write about and be known for kind of thing? Like there's certain alleys I need to go on. And to find this answer, I created this show to find what I'm looking for. Kind of talking about movies and seeing like, hey, like I really enjoy doing this. Boom, let's continue down here and just share it with people is it's also very fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. I like the aspect of figuring things out in real time.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm kind of figuring out what I do in real time as I go as well. I never I don't I can't tell you exactly what the next project will look like because it's always a bit on a whim. You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
what do I feel like is necessary today? And I'll tell you that may be entirely different from what I was doing yesterday. You know, but figuring it out in real time is the shit. You know.
I would what I'm looking forward to is like the remaster version of Cheesegate. Like once I heard that, like oh, I was like, oh, cool. I would love to own that because I remember buying the Cheesegate album at the Gathering, and that's probably the first time I would say I listened to an album with you on it. I think I've heard you with Humble, well, the Humble out the song, yeah, from his last album with
Uh,
Kosuke, which I'm wearing the Kosuke shirt.
hell
Shout out
yeah!
to Kosuke. So
Shout out.
I saw you hustling, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this thing a legit listen to. And brother, wow! And then your last PG-17, I was like, dude gets it. Like I feel like you understand where you're coming from. Like you can tell. Like anytime I hear you or hear you in a project, I'm like, oh dog, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm ready for the next project. You know, and I love the combo of you and Cheese House. It's
Man,
so juggalo as fuck because it's like you guys are so so different, but together it just sounds so right.
yeah, yeah, man. It's very we had very different approaches when we started that LP, and the way things naturally meshed through the process. Like we didn't know what the fuck this thing was gonna look like at first, you know.
Of
Like
course
I
not.
would say, as far as me learning my day to day and in the moment shit, Granny Cheese is very big influence on that. You know, the way that she works has always been very inspiring to me. She likes to be very rap about what's going on right now, like right now type thing. And I think that's the shit. I learned so much from her. Cheesegate has been a pivotal turning point for me. I'll tell you that the remastered LP is gonna be dope. It's there was a couple tracks when I listened back to it, I was like, man, this one's quiet or this one's what I mean. So now we fixed that. We fixed all of
Yeah.
that, and there's a couple more pieces to the puzzle that got redacted. A couple other versions of some of the gates that you hadn't heard before, and I'll tell you, 10 has my verse on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
10. I fucked up. I thought it was the funniest thing when I checked out this CD. I'm on the way to the gathering. I'm rolling with the homie. Why not? Right?
Love why not?
First time reviewing these CDs, I already have boxes and boxes of them in the back. And fucking, we get to track 10, and my verse is just fucking missing. I'm like, yo, what the fuck happened here? You know?
And the teaser's already pressed. You're on the gathering all the way. Like, there ain't no way to fix it now.
Yeah, man. Like 10 was one of the ones we put out as a single online, you know? So the fact that you could go online and listen to it, but not on the CD, I just thought it was the funniest shit. But that's fixed, and I wanna go ahead and say that was entirely on me. I'm the one that sets the CDs up, so that's on me. But some things you learn directly through experience, I'll say.
You know what? It actually says a lot that if you like when you were selling the Cheesecake album, you had what? How many copies of it?
We brought 100. We brought
About
100.
100. So yeah. So I think at that time you were like, "This is the last time Cheesecake are going to be on a project." That's what it kind of felt like. So it felt like a relic.
That
It felt like a
time,
relic
man.
that like
Oh man, that time. Uh,
and how funny how we're a year later and you're re-releasing it and like you've been having projects after that
yeah,
and
we had
you
three
know
projects after that. So far, we're gonna do the remastered, unabridged blackout edition. Um, fucking. I almost fucked up Cheesegate. I almost fucked that shit up last year, but we're good. You know, we're good.
well, I mean, the way you were hustling, that's a lot of people, the 100 people, including myself, were very lucky to get that original orange block boy.
I'm an animal, man. I'm an animal. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I've calmed down a little bit and wrangled myself in such a way that Cheesegate's able to move forward. But
That's
man,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It seems like you had them 1 year. Talk about day to day. Focus on the day to. Look how much you've matured day to day from a year from now. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
it's weird, man. When I got all old, this is man.
All from this film. We're gonna wrap this up right here. So this is so funny how we talked about all this surrounding this film, which has all these life lessons, like you said, this Clerks and stuff like that. I'm gonna give my rating for it. On the next slide. um, but I think it's a very important film to watch, especially for the cinephile in me. Just like looks at the simplicity and just because it's a part of the film. I don't know if Kevin Smith ever got out of it. I did not care for Clerks 3 personally.
Word.
I don't like when films are like, oh, we're going to talk about the first film, and I know like I'm tired of that story because I've listened to Kevin Smith for so much. I didn't need him to retell me Clerks again. I'm like, bro, I was more interested in something else with the characters. I guess I wanted something else from Dante and Randall from where they left off in Clerks 2. I'm like, when we get to Clerks 3, I was just like, ah. But Clerks 1 shows when he puts his heart and soul into something
Yeah,
and he can make beautiful like a relatable art. And I feel like what connects the film so much to Juggalos so much because like you look around, you know homies like these in your group.
yeah.
So give your final words for Clerks.
Hell yeah. Give him a word for Clerks.
Final words.
Final words, man. Well, I'm not even supposed to be here today, but since
Oh
I
god.
am, let me tell you. If you haven't watched Clerks, I would give it 100% the honest watch throughs. You can go rent it on YouTube or what have you. It's like $4. Fucking that shit changed my life, and I base a good chunk of my life around that shit. If I'm not out on the road jugging, I'm back home on my Randall shit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking. I love that shit, man. I appreciate you having me up on here to talk about Clerks like this. This is cool as fuck.
No problem, man.
Yeah,
It
man.
would, it's been a treat to sit and talk to you because like I see you at Jug events, and when we're at Jug events, there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little bit aloof sometimes. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, well, and I've been introduced into the group like I've no homies and I'm just kind of like feeling comfortable because I've only been around you guys for less than a year. So like I'm finding out that it's difficult for me to get into friend groups because I've been such alone all the time that sometimes only comfortable with myself. So it's just kind of finding and talking to people like sometimes I get so fucking nervous. It's fucking crazy. I'm just like, ugh.
I'll tell you, I still do sometimes. It's dumb as it's dumb for me 'cause, like I've been around a couple years or whatever, and I've seen some of these faces so many times, and I still go through it. It's just part of being a human, brother. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. Fucking it's the
Um,
ups and downs of a wicked clown.
it's
But
true. I guess I never had a friend group that actually shows a lot of love. I have had, you have friend groups where like you're ragging each other, but it's like sometimes the ragging doesn't feel like it's out of love, and
yeah,
it gets to the point where you're just like, am I even wanted here?
yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that.
So
Well,
like I've never felt more like a juggalo than I am right now. Like to actually feel like I have said family feels pretty good, and then
oh
being
yeah.
able to talk to you like this has been pretty cool, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
No, I appreciate it too, more than you know. Likewise, dog. Likewise. I pulled up. I really feel like a lot of homies on our end of the underground. I know there's a lot of people that run around and complain and say the underground ain't what it used to be or whatever the fuck. Well, I wasn't there when it used to be whatever the fuck. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm having a good time running around with my homies. I'm seeing a lot of fucking love wherever I go, and it's a beautiful fucking thing, man. The underground is, I think, alive and well, and that's because of us. You know, that's like us as people in the crowd. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the interactions that we have in the crowd. Really, I'm telling you, the show's just like a backdrop at a certain point. You
pretty
know,
much.
like.
Because to me, the reason why I go to shows now is not necessarily for the shows.
Yeah, man. Like I'm gonna tell you, one of my favorite fucking things we do all year is go kick it in Jiggy's basement. You know what I'm saying?
I love that at Jolly Jam. Like I can't. I'm like, where can we go back to Jiggy's place?
Yeah,
Like
man.
that was so much fun. I mean, like the gathering last year was so much fun. That was the first time like I felt I could hang out with people because at that time when I was going to gatherings,
Yeah,
I was just seeing the main shows and kind of walking around, not really interacting with everybody.
right. Yeah,
This
yeah.
year, I mean, last year was just like a whole different experience for me to the point where I'm like, yeah, this is what I was missing.
Oh yeah. And of course, the shows are good. I'm trying to run
Oh, of
around and
course,
catch them too. But if I miss one, I'm not too upset. You know what I mean? I'm sure. Like I missed Twisted Insane's set last year. I was really upset for about 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Just like 30 seconds. But because you can't be upset like that. You're at the gathering. You're gonna turn the corner and you're gonna find some fresh new freshness. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And you're off on a brand new journey. You found a side quest. You know what I'm saying? That's
So, I missed Isham last year because I was on mushrooms.
yo shit, man.
I,
You
and
missed
I
him
was
on
it was
mushrooms.
probably the most I've done, and I was tripping
Oh
hella hard, dog.
yeah,
But here's the thing: I saw Isham at Juggalo Ohio too, so it's like I already saw Isham that year, so it's like I wasn't missing too much because I was able to. What I really wouldn't want to miss was that Chapter 17 party, which that was hella fun too.
yeah. Oh, I bet on shrooms too. Yeah.
At that time, I was coming down. At
Oh
that
yeah.
time, I was if you saw me that night, I was walking around with no glasses, smoking a cigar as I was coming down from mushrooms.
Hell yeah.
I was just
Hell
walking around
yeah.
because I've been at the Legend Valley so much where I can basically walk that bitch blindfolded. I know where everything's at.
Man, I happened to catch my first time seeing Isham. It was off a mushroom cap. It was on my first gathering with MUJ and the boys and shit. And fucking I think that would have been like if there was a time to catch him on shrooms, that would have been it. Because he had like a laser light show going on with that one. He was off on second stage in 22, and
22. I was at 22. Did I see Isham at 22? No, because 22 I wasn't supposed to go. I was at a job where it's like, hey, you're gonna have to work that week. So I never really planned on going at that time. But then I switched jobs like that, and I moved to Ohio, and I'm like, guess who can go to the gathering now? So
yeah,
I didn't camp, and I didn't want to buy a hotel. I'm like, I live in Cincinnati. I can just drive there and back.
no, the fuck you can't.
That was like 2 hours, 2 hours there and back, and I was just like, it was talk about dog ass tired. I couldn't do none of the night stuff, so like I would see the main performances and I would have to leave.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I feel like I
Esham was
missed
like
so
right
much.
after ICP, so I would imagine. Or no, I think he was like right after Ouija that night. I think it was Ouija that night.
Yes, I think yes, I saw Ouija
I'm
that
not
night.
sure, but that was such a fucking that was such a crazy thing. I would hope, I hope to see Esham with another light set like that again. That was real cool.
I remember he did the Nada set. He had that flashlight. That was pretty cool.
Oh man, that Nada set was fucking
That was the
crazy.
first
What
time
a
I ever heard
fucking
Nadas.
treat, dog. What a fucking treat.
It was. And it was my first time ever listening to Nadas.
Hell yeah.
Like
That's
I
what's
like Esham. I didn't go deep into his discography, because some of it's
there's
hard
a
to
lot.
find. There's a lot, yes, and
There's a
not a lot of
lot
streaming
to
services
know.
have it. So
If you don't got a homie like pointing you, you know, it can it can seem a little
we, it,
overwhelming.
so yeah, I would say I didn't. I was my homie. So when I listened to Piecemeal and Darby said Juggle Lonely, I'm like, dog, I feel this. Like, yeah, I ain't got no homies. I was like, that's how I felt. Like, my mom introduced me to the clowns, and then I kind of kept her in the culture. Like, I was showing her like, there was only a few albums that she would listen to. I'm like, no, no, listen to this album. No, listen to this album. This is what we're doing. This is what's going on. Like, I kept her. She was the only person I could actually talk to about it until I think like still I started going to shows in 23 when it started changing a little bit.
Yeah.
I started Juggle Ohio 2 was the first time I was like, I'm actually gonna be like, hi, hello. Humble was the first person. And
Hell
you're
yeah.
like, hi, Humble, I'm Joshua. Like, and I would say Humble's a friend. So where they can find your stuff there, Billy.
I mean, I'm Will Gates, aka Cheesegate Billy, one half of Cheesegate. You can find me on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, what have you. Look up Will Gates. I'll be the first result. Uh, TrashBoyENT.com is a website. We'll be pulling up all around the country this year. So tap in, and if we're pulling up near you, make sure you pop out. Yo, thanks again for having me, bro. This is dope as fuck. Again, for real.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go to the next slide where I'm gonna give you my rating for Clerks.
I want to thank Will Gates again for coming on to discuss Clerks with me. Now let's get to the rating for Clerks. Before I get to the rating, let me have some final thoughts here. I think what makes Clerks really good is how you relate to the movie. As much as you can relate to one of the characters, I think you're going to get something out of the film. If you worked in retail, if you were, especially like a film, I feel like if you're in your 20s and you don't know what you're going to do with your life, I think this film speaks to the 20s. So much where I think, his Clerks series, Kevin Smith's Clerks series, I mean, they got 20s, the 30s, and the 40s as Clerks 1, 2, and 3. Um, I think this is a film that is deserves the love that it gets. I think it's a film that so it shows that a film doesn't have to be so plot heavy. It can be character heavy. It could be mostly dialogue and nothing much going on, but there is so much going on at the same time. Like I said, it's each section, each portion of the film is something that you probably went through in your life if you worked at a register or if you worked at a gas station or had to be in the customer service relation and how you deal with people. So my final rating for Clerks is even after coming back in my 30s, I view the film differently. And I think in the interview, I kind of uh, spoke about a lot how the film feels different for me now in my 30s than I did in my teenage and my 20s when I really fucked heavy with this film. I haven't seen this film in almost 10 years or so. Like it's been a while since I've seen Clerks. And the going back, I can see where I fit in and where I get the relations and stuff like that. And this film is very juggalo as hell because it's Kevin Smith not being denied and not being told he can't make a movie and kind of did the thing on his own where ICP said that we're going to be rappers and there was no stopping him. Kevin Smith wanted to be a director, he became a director. So Clerks definitely gets a whoops up, double whoops up. Is it my favorite Kevin Smith film? I would have to revisit Chasing Amy again. I think Chasing Amy is probably up there. Dogma probably also. Um, but I don't think he gets to this raw form. I think Mallrats is a studio version of Clerks. Chasing Amy is kind of going back to the rawness of Kevin Smith and kind of going to more of his personal life and his writing. And Dogma is a film that he's been wanting to make. That technically his next film was supposed to be Dogma. He wanted to make Dogma after Clerks. Um, and then Jelly Silent Bob, I think is just the Strikes Back is just kind of a reprise of what the View Skew is, and Clerks 2 is just I like Clerks 2 a lot. I haven't seen it in a while, but I think it's a film that if you have never seen before, I hope this review gets you out to see it. Whoops up for that. All the links for Will Gates' social medias and his website, Trash Boy ENT, is in the link. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week where I'm with Humble Among as we discuss Toxic Avenger 2 and the Toxic Avenger musical that I'm seeing. So whoop whoop. Much clown love, everybody. Be safe out there.